Phoenix Rising by Rob Harper and Jack Fike. Episode 2. Previously on Phoenix Rising, the crew of the Nyarlathotep reached the Phoenix, but not all is as it seems. A delegation from the Nyarlathotep, including Captain West, go over to the Phoenix, only to be attacked. Now the seemingly insane crew of the Phoenix are sieging the Nyarlathotep, and the two ships are stuck together. With the captain missing, this leaves Commander Arkham in charge.
John, what are your orders?
Arkham looked around, all of the faces staring at him, looking for some kind of orders. He steels himself and steps into the role.
Okay, Dyer. Set up a defensive line here. No one gets through that door.
Yes, sir.
Bridge, get me some engineers, and figure out a way to get us away from that ship. I'll be right up to hear some suggestions.
Arkham turned to look through the porthole and into the passage between the two ships. Instead of seeing the attackers, he just sees the woman representing the Phoenix, staring back at him and at the other end of the passage.
Dyer, if that woman steps across that bridge, shoot her.
Dyer smiles and nods. She gives him a look of approval at his response to the crisis.
Once you get things organized here, come up to the briefing. I want your input too.
Arkham heads off to the bridge and hopes his situation can be resolved quickly. As soon as Arkham walked into the ready room, off of the main bridge, he knows he is in for it. Among the engineers and military advisors, standing there is General Marsh, with De La Poer right behind him as always. If that wasn't enough, a representative of the settlers was there. It was never good when a civilian was in the command area, and the severe-looking woman in front of Arkham was not someone he wanted to deal with right now. The news of what had happened must have traveled all through the ship by now.
Ah, Arkham! Glad you could make it.
Arkham ignored the general's remark.
This is Professor Frances Morgan. She represents the civilian settlers, and she insists on sitting in on the briefing.
And you approved her being here, General? I'm sorry, Miss Morgan, but this is a crew matter. We will keep the civilians on board informed and safe. You can be assured.
It's Professor Morgan, and they will be informed, Commander, because I'm going to be here to make sure. Need I remind you, Commander, that this is a civilian expedition and protocol demands we have a representative here.
Arkham just goes and sits at the head of the meeting table. There is no fighting politics, and now is not the time. Everyone else takes their seats. It didn't feel right sitting in the captain's seat, but it was protocol.
Okay, so I assume you've all heard by now that the away team was attacked by the crew of the Phoenix, and only one made it back. The rest are presumed captured, if not dead, and among them is Captain West.
There were no surprised looks. Everyone already knew what had happened.
Also, as per the captain's order, we tried to undock from the Phoenix, but we were unable to. It seems the Phoenix has made some modifications to their ship. They have the means of keeping us attached, and I want solutions on how to unattach us.
Well, the solution seems simple. We blow the passage and sever the lines attached to the blasted ship.
You can't do that. Our mission was to meet up with the Phoenix and help them. Now more than ever, they need our help.
Ma'am, with all due respect, those people are crazier than jackrabbits. They attacked our people.
With all due respect, General, we don't know what happened over there. The only person to make it back is in medbay and barely coherent. Commander, we need to send over negotiators, see if they have captives, and try to make a peaceful resolution.
Arkham had been watching the two blowhards argue with his hands clasped under his chin. Neither option seemed feasible. Marsh had been right. This lady hadn't seen the people from the Phoenix. They didn't look like the kind of people who would negotiate. But he also didn't want to blow the passage between the ships. At least, not yet. In the heat of the moment, he had followed the captain's orders and tried to escape. Now, he had had time to think about it, and if there was a chance, even a small chance, the captain and the others were alive, he was not going to abandon them. Just as he was about to speak, Dyer enters the room and everyone turns to look at her. She looks like a deer caught in headlights.
Sorry, sir. You said to come right in.
It's okay. Have a seat. What's the situation down there?
It's quiet. Very quiet. Just the ambassador standing at the end of the passage, looking creepy.
Ambassador?
Oh, sorry. The representative from the Phoenix. That weird lady. The boys have taken to calling her that.
A good a name as any. We'll codename her Ambassador, then. Any sign of the attackers?
No, not since our initial assault. We've also posted sentries at all of the Phoenix-facing portholes. We're trying to see any activity, but so far nothing.
Good job, Dyer. Okay, so I want engineers to try and figure out a way of releasing us without blowing the passage. Not yet, at least. Professor Morgan, please reassure the civilians we are trying to resolve this situation peacefully. You're right, we don't know what's going on that ship. We need more information. We'll reconvene at 0600 and see how everyone is coming along. Dismissed.
As everyone gets up to leave, Arkham is lost in his own thoughts. How would the captain have handled this? He hadn't known the man long enough to answer that question. Arkham looks up to see the room empty except for Dyer, who was looking right at him.
Are you okay? It's a lot of pressure to take on.
I just don't know what to do. The captain wanted me to get the ship away from the Phoenix at any sign of trouble. But having failed to do that, I'm lost. The longer we're attached, the harder it is for me to just leave him.
It's okay. There's no immediate threat from what we can tell. Maybe the ambassador will give us a clue as to what they want. Until then, get some rest. It's been a long day.
Thank you, Abigail. It's good to have someone to confide in.
That's what I'm here for, and don't call me Abigail. My mom called me that when I was a kid, and only when she was mad.
Sorry, Dyer.
And with that, Arkham heads to his quarters for a few hours' sleep. Or at least rest. He doubts he can sleep with all of the thoughts racing through his head. He is haunted by the crazed faces of the crew of the Phoenix as they charged towards him. After a few restless attempts, he does eventually succumb to sleep.
To be continued after the break.
Jack!
Is that you, the ghost of Christmas past?
No, I'm the ghost of podcast future.
I'm intrigued. Do tell me more.
The future of podcasts is written in old-time radio. I know it sounds oxymoron, but it's not.
Where can I find this podcast?
oldtimeradio.podbean.com.
And how many doubloons will that cost me?
It's free, unlike my soul. I have to go there. Bye.
You boy, what day is it today?
It's Canada Day, it seems.
Well, go buy that biggest Christmas goose in the window.
That makes no sense. I'm just taking your money and leaving.
Mainly at oldtimeradio.podbean.com.
Arkham is awoken by a nightmare in which a horrible tentacled beast was dragging him underwater. He realizes what he thought was the thing's screams was actually the calm buzzing. He quickly swings off his bunk and answers it.
Arkham here.
John, come down to the airlock, quick. All hell's breaking loose.
On my way.
Arkham hurriedly gets half-dressed and rushes towards the passage between the two ships. The Northrotep passages are a maze in order to compensate for the Arkham Drive, but he navigates them efficiently and is at the airlock in a matter of minutes. He expects to find a wholesale assault from the Phoenix, but instead finds a few dozen civilians on their knees, with blasters pointed at them by fully armored SEC team members. Dyer and a few others are at the porthole and don't even notice him approach.
Dyer, report.
Dyer turns and looks at Arkham deep in his eyes. She looks upset. She turns back to the portal as Arkham stands beside her. Inside the passage, Professor Morgan can be seen talking to the ambassador.
That group of civilians came up on my team here and created a distraction, and that daft woman slipped into the passage.
That damn woman. She risked the entire ship. Did any of them come through when she opened the airlock?
It was chaos, John. We couldn't tell what was going on.
Damn it. Have teams sweep the entire ship. We have to be sure none of them made it on.
Dyer runs off to organize the search, and Arkham watches as Professor Morgan is escorted onto the Phoenix by the ambassador. Morgan turns back and smiles and motions to reassure Arkham. Arkham catches the look on the ambassador's face and knows everything isn't fine. Arkham rushes to the bridge. The time for waiting is over. He makes it in record time.
Comms, get me the Phoenix.
They're hailing us, sir.
Put them on the main screen.
On the large holo projector on the bridge is the face of the ambassador. It reveals nothing about her. It is like a mask.
I demand you release our crew members immediately.
The ambassador ignores Arkham.
We are not to be reasoned with.
It is all she says. She steps aside to show Professor Morgan. The woman is crying and banging on the porthole. The camera goes in closer just as the airlock that Professor Morgan is in is vented into space. The shock on Morgan's face is burned into Arkham's mind. Another view, sent from the Northrotep's own cameras, is put up by the comms to the side. It shows Professor Morgan's body drift away from both ships. The line from the Phoenix goes dead. Arkham hangs his head. He is upset, not only at the Professor's needless death, but also at the uselessness of it. She had risked the Northrotep for nothing. Elsewhere in the ship there is a group of people, not of the Northrotep. In the chaos, they slipped from the Phoenix and onto a strange new ship. Thy will be done is all they were thinking.
Tune in for the next episode.
Hello, my adoring fans. This is Captain Courage. And with me is Kid Crustacean. We're doing a commercial for my show, Captain Courage's Comedy Cavalcade. Please tell me, what do you think about the Captain Courage's Comedy Cavalcade? I concur. Ha ha! And we do have an email address. Please, tell me what that email address is one more time.
Captain?
What's that, Marty?
I'm afraid, Kid Crustacean's a little unintelligible.
Unintelligible? I can understand her, and I trust everyone else.
Captain? No, nobody else can.
No?
No, not at all.
Well, Marty, then do us all a favor. Tell us, what is the email address to contact me, Captain Courage?
Captain Courage's Comedy Cavalcade at gmail.com.
That makes a lot of sense, Marty. That makes a lot of sense. Anyway, thank you all once again. For myself, Kid Crustacean, signing off. Be safe out there, Courage Cadets.